Hi everyone. Now that we have added, subtracted, multiplied, and divided rational expressions, we are going to go and solve them, okay? It's going to sound a little familiar about our first step being that we need to find the common denominator, except instead of multiplying both the numerator and denominator by that common denominator, we're just going to multiply the term by it, so then we can get rid of the denominators, okay? So your goal is here to get rid of the denominators. And I'll show you kind of what that means as I work out the problem. So for an example, on number 1, our common denominator would be 2x, because I'm missing a 2 here, an x here, and a 2 there. So I'm going to multiply each term by that common denominator. Okay, when I multiply this 2x by this term, the x's go away. So 2 times 4 is 8, plus, here the 2's go away. 2 divided by 2 is 1. I'm left with 5x equals, these x's go away. I have a negative, so this is 2 times 11 is 22, so this is negative 22. So now that these denominators are all gone, this is a lot easier to solve. So that's why we're going to multiply just each term by the common denominator and not the numerator and denominator by it, because then we won't be getting rid of it. So, all right, now you just got to solve for x. So to subtract 8, so 5x equals negative 30. And then 30 divided by 5 is 6. So x equals negative 6. Because we're divided by a negative. Okay? You guys always know you can always just plug in your value back in just to double check your answer. Okay? Number 2. Let's see here. Let's multiply, our common denominator here would be x minus 2. So x minus 2, x minus 2. Even though this denominator is just a 1, right? We still need to multiply every term. Whatever you do to one side, you have to do to the other. So make sure you're just doing that to every single term. Okay? Does not look like a 2. There we go. Okay, so actually these just go away, so I'm left with 5 equals, I need to distribute the 7 to this x minus 2. So if you want, you can rewrite it out. That might help you not forget to distribute that 7 to anything. And then over here, the x minus 2's cancel, so I'm left with 10. Okay? Alrighty. Let's see here. Let's go 5 equals 7x minus 14 plus 10. 5 equals 7x minus 4. Add 4 to both sides, so 9 equals 7x. So x equals 9 over 7. Okay? Now, I did forget to mention here on this fourth step, it says check to see if we have any extraneous solutions. What that means is just plug x back into the equation and see if the denominator equals 0. If the denominator does equal 0, then the solution is extraneous. So for an example here, this negative 6, we're not going to get 0 in the denominator. Over here, 9/7 minus 2 will not give us 0, so we're good. So that is a solution. Okay? All right, number 3. Move my camera down a little bit. Okay, over here, notice that we have, oh, whoops. I thought that was x squared minus 1. All right, so I have a GCF here of x, so I get x minus 1. And you always want to factor anything out first, like we have been doing so far with rational expressions. But notice this denominator is just missing the x, so I'm just going to multiply this whole side by x. And, oh, I'm sorry, x times x minus 1, because that is my common denominator. Over here, I have to do x times x minus 1. Okay, so notice this whole left side is gone, so I'm left with 2 equals, this x minus 1's are gone, I'm just left with 1x, which is just x. Okay? Well, that was kind of a simple one. If I plug a 2 back in here, I get 4 minus 2. I'm good. 2 minus 1 does not equal 0, so I'm done. Okay? All right, number 4. Let's see here. Oh, this is x squared minus 1, so that's going to undo itself. So that's x plus 1 times x minus 1. That's a difference of 2 squares. Okay, so I'm going to multiply this term by that least common denominator. Or I'm sorry, by the common denominator, not the least. X plus 1 times x minus 1. And this whole guy, this number 3. Okay, so over here the x plus 1's go away. So I'm left with, okay, this one's going to start to get a little messy. Okay, so I have this x minus 1 still on top, and I have this 4x plus 1, okay? Equals, this all undoes itself, so I'm left with 12, plus this 3, that just has a denominator of 1, so I have to multiply this 3 by everything. Now I'm going to kind of shorthand this. I already know that when I FOIL this out, this is x squared minus 1, so I'm going to write 3 times x squared minus 1, because I don't want to have to refoil that out, okay? Now we need to just simplify this guy. So over here I'm going to FOIL. So I'm going to get 4x squared plus x minus 4x minus 1. Let me double check that. 4x squared, x minus 4x minus 1. Good. Equals 12 plus 3x squared minus 3. Okay. Now combine like terms. If I subtract this 3x squared, I'm going to end up with x squared over here. So that guy's gone. Let's see, what else? So I have x minus 4x, that's negative 3x. And if I add, 12 minus 3 is 9. Positive 9. If I subtract that, that's going to give me negative 10 over here, equals 0. So now everything is gone on that side. Let me just double check that one more time before I continue. Negative 3, let's see. 10. Okay, yep, we're good. All right, now let's see if we can factor this. Remember, if you can't factor this, we're going to use the quadratic formula. Okay, so I have x times x. Let's see, 5 and 2. Negative 5 plus 2. Negative 10, negative 5 plus 2 is negative 3. Yay! So x equals negative 2 and x equals 5. Now let's check real quick to make sure none of these give us an extraneous solution. So if I plug a negative 2 in here, I'm good. Negative 2 squared, that's 4 minus 1, I'm golden. The 5, I'm good. My denominator is never a 0. So these are both solutions to this problem. Okay? Alrighty, number 5. Let's see here. Over on this side, I have a GCF of x, so I'm left with x minus 2. So it looks like my common denominator will be x times x minus 2. So let's go ahead and do that. Whoops, I did not mean to write that right away. X times x minus 2. That whole thing, this whole thing is x times x minus 2. X times x minus 2. Okay, so here everything goes gone. So I'm left with 10 plus, my x's are gone, so I'm left with 4 times x minus 2 equals, these x minus 2's are gone, so I'm left with 5x. Okay. So I get 10 plus 4x minus 8 equals 5x. I'm actually going to subtract this 4x over so that my x's stay positive. And then that's a 2, right? 10 minus 8 is 2. All right. Now, notice when I plug this back in, 2 squared is 4 minus 2 times 2 is 4. So that denominator equals 0, which is a big no-no. Okay? Over here, my denominator is fine. But over here, 2 minus 2 is 0, so that makes, because this x value of 2 does make the denominator equal 0, we have to say that this is an extraneous solution. I like to say, think of it as like extra, like this solution is just kind of extra, it's just there. Okay, it's not really technically a full solution there, so we just say that it's extraneous, it's extra, it's just in the way. Okay, so make sure you identify if you have any extraneous solutions or not. You always want to check that. Okay? All right, go ahead and start your homework now.